No, we'll just have to wait a couple of seconds or a minute before it launches on LinkedIn because sometimes it just doesn't want to work. Okay,
That's-
it's quick this time. It's already live on LinkedIn.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. A few more seconds. Huh. That's weird, but yeah, no. Everything's good. Looks like everything's good. So we're off to a good start. All right.
Hmm. Hmm.
Here we are. Yep. We can finally start it. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Odys Talks. Naturally, this show is presented to you by Odys Global, your one stop shop for age domains, premium names, and websites, as well as additional services, including 301 redirects, fully managed hosting, topic clusters, and EAT audit. We've also launched a lease to own feature. So if you spotted a domain in our marketplace that you think is an exact fit for your business, but you can't or do not want to pay it in full at this given moment, so you can do it in installments from now on. Previously, this feature was a private one, but we decided to go public. And yeah, it's a good thing, and you can definitely use it to your advantage. All right. Today, I'm joined by three more legends, like the titans of the industry, I'd say. It's Jason Hennessy of Hennessy Digital, Andy Steven of IMG Courses, Page Optimizer Pro, High Voltage SEO, and I'm sure there there are other things
Yeah, that's it.
in your books that no, that's it. All right, I'll let you
Mhm.
unfold in it in a moment. And Odys mentor and founder of Ice Cold Marketing. Uh, just a second, sorry. Riverside is telling me something. All right. Tim Schmidt, sorry for that. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. Andy, Riverside's saying that your browser is preventing recording. Uh, oh, he disappeared. All right. Let's wait for him to get back to us.
Come back. There we go.
Just. All right. Well, okay. Andy's back.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
that
You're back with
too.
us. Oh, you got that message.
Just
You refresh the page.
refresh the browser.
There
Okay,
we go.
so I'll just do it again. Jason Hennessy of Hennessy Digital, Andy Steven of IMG Courses, Page Optimizer Pro, High Voltage SEO, and Tim Schmidt, the Odys mentor and founder of Ice Cold Marketing. So welcome, guys. Why don't you introduce yourselves as well and add whatever you would like people to know about you? Jason,
Yeah.
why don't you go first?
Yeah, Vladimir, thank you. I appreciate it. So I'm here on the West Coast. I'm in Los Angeles. I got started in this SEO journey back in 2001. Back when I had black hair, I was a little bit better looking in those days. And it was just, I think you stumble upon this industry, and then once you're in, it's hard to kind of get out. I predominantly focus a lot of my time working in the legal sector in the United States. So I do a lot of work with law firms all over the country. I got a new book that just came out called The Honest SEO. It's in airports right now. It's at bookstores, on Amazon. So I'd be honored if you pick up a copy.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you. Andy, what about you?
I'm just trying to think back. My entry into the industry wasn't directly into SEO, but 2004. So
Hmm.
that was nearly 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Selling domain names, of all things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, dirty
Uh-huh.
business.
Wow.
And through that, just fell into managing an SEO team. Ooh, I've got this message coming up again.
Yeah, what's wrong with your browser, man?
Hmm.
Are you guys still recording?
Well, I got the message that your browser is preventing the recording. I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think you should refresh your page again.
I'm going to restart my browser.
There you
Okay.
go.
Okay. Well, then I'll let Tim introduce himself, and we're gonna wait for you.
There you go.
Sounds good. Like Jason, I started in 01. I moved from the Midwest where I recently graduated college. Turned down a very lucrative job offer because I didn't want to get stuck in the Midwest. And I saw myself kind of always in college as a hacker and was, before it was cool, I was selling my essay papers online for $50 after I'd take a big, midterm or something, while my friends were flipping burgers for $5 in the campus, refectory. So I was generating money online at an early age and knew that was my path. Accepted a sales job at one of the early SEO companies called Web Genius and pretty much learned everything there and went from sales to doing it myself. And Jason probably remembers back then the Yahoo directory was a huge, huge play and hack. And I got a lot of people, a lot of traffic. So I made a living off that between agency and affiliate for a few years before I got into e-commerce. Started in the health sector, eventually sold those off. The last one I sold off in 2022. I've got some private clients, but my passion is really with affiliate. I like the flexibility of schedule. I like working with different programs, building, scaling, and then eventually selling these sites to larger companies that can take them to bigger spaces. And as you mentioned earlier, I'm an Odys mentor. So I help people find domain names, match them up with their needs, their fits, get a strategy with them, whether it's an affiliate site, e-commerce, or just to use for a 301. So been doing this a long time and wouldn't do anything else. Really, I love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you guys for your introductions. And hopefully we're all set for now. All right, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
All right. Well, it's really terrific that like I have all three of you here in one panel, and all three of you have started like in one way or the other doing this pretty much 20 years ago, like plus minus 2 or 3 years. But yeah, it's not such a big deal. But I mean, 20 years in the industry, in the business, man. So I mean, I've been planning to start with some questions, but while you were talking, I was like, well, I should ask this and that and that. So so yeah, Andy, since you mentioned domains, like why domains of all the things?
Why domains?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just an accident. I was looking for anyone who would give me a start into my career in the after university. It must have been early 20s, and my best friend from high school had started a domain registrar in high school. I'm getting this same message again about the
Yeah, that's weird. Well, okay, don't worry. Let's just. Huh?
I'm really sorry. I don't know what to do about it.
Well, just don't bother. Just yeah.
Which
Don't worry.
browser are you on? Maybe try swapping Firefox, maybe, or something else.
I think Riverside only runs on Chrome, so I'm not sure.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Maybe it's got a problem with Portugal.
Maybe. Well, either way, just don't worry about it anymore. Just let's let's keep it going, and
well, we were interestingly at the forefront of domain pickup back in like the early 2000s when it kind of just became a thing in the Australian market. And so me and all my buddies were working there. We would get like first dibs on anything that would come up for grabs. And sometimes it would be someone like expired domains by accident. So we're kind of like ethically hijacking those. Sometimes it was newly available, like 3-letter domains and stuff like that. And everyone had this kind of side hustle of like buying and selling domains. I think I still hold a lot of those, and thought that I should be retired by now, but it just didn't work out like that for me. I did do a couple of interesting transactions. One of them was for, I think there was quite a well-known band at the time, let their domain name slip, and I picked it up, and the guy reached out to me, and I made him give my brother guitar lessons for 6 months in order to get his domain.
Are you serious? Wow.
Nice.
That's awesome.
He hated me. So there's a few interesting deals like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So you've been doing this for a few years, and then at what point in time did you meet Kyle Roof?
Yeah, so Kyle Roof is my longtime business partner for maybe more than 10 years now. And we first just actually met online. I hired him. We worked together on a few projects for about a year or so. I got hired exclusively to work with a new client and ditched all of our other clients. I gave them to Kyle. 3 months later, that business imploded, and I crawled back to Kyle and asked if I could have my clients back. And at that stage, we decided to make it. He was very nice about it, and we kind of joined forces at that time and started our first agency, High Voltage SEO. So that would have been back in, I guess, 2012, something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's quite amazing, really, if you think that's longer than most marriages these days last. And while we have our little disagreements here and there, it's been a very happy business marriage.
That's really, really awesome. And man, that means you've seen the industry through like all the different stages of evolution, I'd say. I mean, like back in the day, when content was like keyword stuffed and barely readable, hardly readable. I mean, I even I've been doing stuff like that as a copywriter. Well, I've been getting orders from clients like, you need to write about this topic and please fill it with these keywords and these keywords and these keywords and make sure all of them are in there.
Yeah.
And today it's more about like writing actually useful and helpful content. And yeah, I'm just talking from my own perspective as a writer. But I guess it's been like a lot more. The industry has been through a lot more than just content changes and approaches. So, guys, what were some of the like most outrageous cases of in terms of changes that you had to endure during your time as SEOs and entrepreneurs? Well, let's start with SEO since we started talking about it.
Yeah.
Jason, yeah, you can share.
Man, there's been so many changes over the years. I remember the first book I ever read on SEO was by a guy named Aaron Wall. He owns the website SEObook.com, and so it was I purchased it. I started reading it. I was a little intimidated by it. And these were the days where like SEO was I want to say it was a lot easier. At least you got results a lot quicker because there wasn't as much competition. And so, there were people that were kind of doing experiments, putting white text on white background, and that was working. And there's a lot of, back in those days, there was a ton of article directories that I'm sure, everybody probably used. One that comes to mind was one called Articles Base, I think was one of them. And at that time, I think, I was just looking for the hack, like what works now, like, what's the new trick in Google that works now, right? For a time, there was something called Squidoo lenses where you can kind of exploit Squidoo lenses. People were doing things like there was a directory called, I'm sure you guys remember DMOZ, right? And if you got into DMOZ, like that was a strong signal. So people were trying to get to become DMOZ moderators in like a random category, like, I don't know, like fishing watches, right? And then this way you can get yourself into like the marketing channels and stuff. So I mean, it just, for me back then, it just seemed like, what is the new hack? Like what should I be doing? Like, how can I exploit Google this month? Right. And then there came a time where Google just, got more resources and they hired better engineers, and their algorithm became a lot, I want to say harder, but I guess more useful for people, right? And they just kind of created a better web. And don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of hacks going on. Like if you Google online casinos, like that's a whole nother world. That's like, people are kind of still doing some of the strategies and techniques that we were doing 15 years ago, and it works in that result. But so many things. People were not only building links, but people were kind of creating fake law firms and sending cease and desist to get links removed from their competitors. There's all kinds of crazy stuff happening. But like I said, it's a lot tougher now. And there's not so many I guess hacks that work. And so, but I think that's good for the industry.
Mm-hmm. Tim, maybe you have anything to share?
Yeah, I mean, 20 years, I've definitely seen a lot of hacks. I mean, they, as Jason touched on, they change all the time. And I mentioned earlier in the intro that the Yahoo directory was the biggest hack ever. I mean, you could literally see if there was a domain available with your keyword in it, and it didn't even have to. It could be really spammy. Like if you're trying to rank for Brooklyn lawyers, it could be for-Brooklyn-lawyers. As long as you put your title tag properly, content and text, and you could even keyword stuff the bottom footer of the page with all sorts of stuff too. That was the first hack I saw, and that's what got me addicted to SEO, because it was rinse, repeat, sell, rinse, repeat, sell. And then I got into the affiliate side, and it was just rinse, repeat, build, and rank for anything you wanted to. And then that just went away overnight, basically. Like the Yahoo directory did not display the results in Yahoo that it used to. And Google was growing like crazy at the time. And I remember when I first started SEO, we were, don't sleep on it. But it was like, I don't know, maybe 10% or 14% of search. And it's nowhere, now it's obviously like huge. But that was the first one I saw. And then for me, it was pretty much smooth sailing. We touched on the article directories things, and you could build links strictly from article directories. Buzzle, I remember, eZine articles.
Yeah.
All of those were huge. The new lenses, again, Jason touched on. And then I felt like I felt like SEO was really easy. And then they came out with Panda and Penguin, and literally like your anchor text started mattering. Your optimization had to be really tight. You couldn't, EMDs stopped working, exact match domains. That was a big hack too. If you bought BrooklynLawyer.com, your SEO was a lot easier than if you had, the Jenkins Law Firm in Brooklyn.com, right? That was a huge thing. And I got, majorly slapped because overnight, an affiliate site in the vapor space that was doing very, very well. And regrettably, I should have flipped it when it was doing very, very well. Instead, I wrote it out for 5 more years, and you just, made profits on it and watched the industry go away, because now they're sold in every gas station. Back then, it was exclusive to some malls, which the malls kind of seemed weird because they were at kiosks and you didn't know what it was. But online did a good job of educating people. But back then, my mornings consisted of waking up, seeing who posted a new gig on Black Hat World, and buying it before anyone else did, so I could get all those links before my competitors did. And it was literally like jockeying for number 1 to number 3 for all these huge terms. And then it was like, oh, you can't just type in electronic cigarette as your anchor text every single day. Like you can't do 100 exact anchors. You have to vary them. You have to use branded. Very few people got past that update. So to me, that was arguably the biggest shift in SEO that I ever saw.
I agree. Yeah.
Wow.
100%.
That's quite a story. Andy, you have anything to share?
I guess like the thing about us and the industry generally is it's just thrived on people working out how to scale things to just a stupid level, and I agree with Jason that's the internet is a better place when that becomes harder to do generally. Obviously, it's easy for us. It depends what side of the business you're on. If you're an agency and you're doing good work, then when these hacks go away, that it doesn't necessarily affect your bottom line. It always means that there's there's actually more work to do. There's harder work to do, and you can charge more for it because everyone is still doing it the old way, which is more risky, and you don't want to do a lot of these things on prime business sites of your clients. At least you definitely want to be testing them a lot on other sites outside of your clients' portfolios before you do it on theirs. I remember we used to do a lot of things like using micro workers for like click-through rate manipulation. That was a fun one. We used to do a lot of crawling for broken links, hoping to find expired domains. I remember we ended up in a little cease and desist battle when we were doing rental car SEO, quite a bit of it. And you're probably familiar with the rental car brand Budget. They'd changed their domain strategy, and instead of in South America and Central America having CC-TLDs for every country, they switched to a GTLD with like a subfolder, and just to let the old CC-TLDs expire, and we found a gold mine of these.
Is that right?
No one found it. We found it first, and so obviously we took advantage of that and got a good year out of it before we ran into a little bit of legal trouble from memory. But they helped out our clients for quite a while, and we got recognized for that.
Just redirected it.
Yeah, we were just redirecting those.
That's so great. Yeah, smart.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah. So a lot of things have been happening throughout these 20 years, and another fun thing about having all three of you here is that all three of you are, let's say, in your own particular way, big on educating others. I mean, Jason, you've written books, right? Andy, you started IMG courses together with Kyle, and like it's a great platform. You can find a lot of great stuff provided by great professionals on it.
Thanks.
Tim, thank you for thank you for developing this platform, like Netflix for SEOs. Yeah. Well, and Tim, you're an Odys mentor who's always sharing like knowledge bombs and very actionable stuff with whoever books a call with you. So this is a really interesting part of the SEO industry that I've noticed over the past, let's say, a year or so, that there's a huge tendency to sharing the knowledge, although like it seems when you're not like in the industry, in whatever role it is, whether you're doing SEO or managing something or whatever it is, it seems that like people are just minding their own business, trying to do their stuff, and hold on to it for their own selves. But once you enter the industry and once you start talking to guys like you, you quickly realize that everyone is pretty much eager to share. So speaking about that, question for Jason: why books in particular? I mean, there's the entire internet. You could have run, and I'm sure you have been running like a huge blog, sharing all the stuff. And I mean, SEOs and digital entrepreneurs are always online, but you decided to go the conventional way, which is really like pretty much out of the box thinking, considering the industry. So why books?
Yeah. You know what? So, in life, I guess, even from an early age, you always have like, a coach, right? When you're in Little League, you have a coach, right? Then later on in life, you get mentors, right? And so for me, I originally found my business coach by watching a YouTube video, and this was like 10 years ago. My business coach, his name is Cameron Harold. He wrote a couple books. And so, I watched this video. It's a TED Talk about like raising your kids to be entrepreneurs. And, it's the C students that, kind of change the world. And I was like, yeah, that's me. Right. And so I was inspired. And so at the time I couldn't afford a business coach. But I followed, Cameron on social media, and then I bought his books and I read his books, and I got educated. Even though I couldn't afford to work with him at the time, I was kind of in his mind. Right. And so, it kind of helped me transition from an SEO to a CEO, which is a big transition. And so during COVID, or before COVID, I reached out to him and said, "Hey, I've been following you for a while. Would you consider coaching me?" Right. And so he then became my coach. And that was one of the first things that he said is, it's COVID. Why don't you write a book? And I'm like, I never thought of that, And so, he kind of, coached me on how to do that. And it's one of those things like once you reach a level of, if you want to call it success, like the goal is to try to go back and be the person that you needed 20 years ago, and so that was my inspiration for writing the book. It was so that people that can't necessarily work with me, that I can give back to those, and just kind of teach them the lessons that I've learned over the years to kind of save them the heartache and the money that they don't need to waste. And then it's a branding exercise too. I'm trying to build my personal brand, which then helps support my agency. And so anyway, it was just a thing to do. And I give away more books than I sell, to be honest with you. We probably send out between 300 and 500 books a month to people. And so it's just part of our marketing strategy. Some people we just give it out to. Sometimes people get it, they read it, they want to hire us, right? So, but that's kind of, I guess, part of my mission to kind of give back, I guess.
Awesome. Wow. Beautiful story. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Andy, getting back to IMG courses, I actually was there at the workshop in Chiang Mai, where you've been talking about IMG courses, how you came up with the idea, what advantages it has for whoever subscribes to it and starts taking courses. But like in a nutshell,
How it was an accident?
huh?
How it was an accident?
Accident?
Yeah.
What do you mean by accident?
The creation of IMG courses in the first place.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is what I was leading up to. Yeah. So, in a nutshell, just could you condense the story of starting the IMG courses and the entire idea, stuff like all the stuff associated with it?
Yeah, well, I think something that I didn't really used to understand very well was the path to trust, the path to growth on both your business side and personally. Come back to education. The more that you can educate people in the best format and give away as much as possible for free, that's actionable without really having an obvious agenda behind it, the more that will actually just come back to you. It's just sort of like a law. And I learned this by accident from experience. When we started IMG, there was 3 of us. There was also a chap by the name of Ted Kubitis, who some of you might know.
Yeah, of course.
He's no longer with us. He's alive. He's just no longer on the team.
Thanks for the clarification.
we were really into SEO testing, and the objective of IMG was nothing too ambitious. It was really just to provide a new space for the SEO testing community to get together, to create new tests every month, to share their tests, to work out what's working, what's not working, what's a maybe and needs to be tested again by other people. And this, we thought we needed a custom built platform for this. It turned out we really didn't, but we went down this path and wasted 6 months and spent well over $50,000 building this custom built platform for running our community of SEO testers on, which was a complete dumpster fire. So at 6 months in, when I realized that this was really probably never going to finish and was never going to get to the standard that we were hoping for, Kyle suggested that he create a course that was on-page SEO. This is now nearly 4 years ago. So we thought that if we launched this course, we already had like a strong community and list. We just didn't have a product or a platform to bring them together on. That if we created this course and we launched the course to our community, that we could recuperate some of the losses and just offer something to somebody, you know. We'd made a lot of promises that we hadn't kept. So we launched the course and it turned out to be a huge success. We just put everything we had into the launch because, well, we were in a pretty bad position at that time. And it got traction. Like it's still to this day selling on a daily basis, and has become sort of one of the most recognized SEO courses over the years. So that got us out of the spot. And then we thought, well, why not keep following the path of success, which we've proven, rather than go down this other path? So we decided to sort of pivot and find as many courses. We realized if we really wanted to launch courses every month, that we couldn't do that just ourselves. We needed to bring other people in. So we started doing that. We collected about 17 or so courses within the next 6 months, and we launched like a platform which is similar to what IMG actually is today. And we've been adding at least a course every month since then. So I say we just kind of hassle the people who we want in the library until they say that they'll produce a course for us, and we work with them to create that, and then we offer it out to the community. And like what Jason was saying, really, like, if we can help people to just avoid making some of the mistakes that they otherwise would, or that we have over the years, or that our instructors have, then we feel like our goal is to generate 10 times the investment for every user that they put in, that they get out into their own businesses, their growth and their success.
Awesome. What's the process of like getting new courses today? Are you reaching out to people, or are you getting requests like, "Hey, can I do a course for you for IMG," or something like that? What is it like today?
It's a bit of both. Mostly it's the harassment method that I was talking about. And the thing is that it doesn't always need to be based on how many YouTube followers that has. You know, through the collection of people involved, we know quite a few people, and some of them are just kind of doing their own thing in their room, like operating a small business. But I can just see that they're just doing something interesting. They're just kind of testing the boundaries in some ways, and if they've got good communication skills, and I think that would make a good coach, then sometimes we'll reach out to them, and other people may not have heard of them before, and some of those people have actually made the best courses that are in the library.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Is there anyone like who? Is there any, let's say, what's the word? Someone, let's say, industry famous that you've hunted and finally got on your platform lately, who's cooking a course right now, and you could share about or like tease a little.
There's quite a few. I think maybe there's been one who we got on our own show a while back, and we've really been looking out for an e-commerce course, someone who's really at cutting edge in this area of our industry, because we tend to like to go really narrow and deep on a subject. And Luke Carthy, maybe you guys know him as an English guy who specializes
The
in
name
e-commerce
sounds familiar.
SEO. Yeah, so we've been in touch. He's been interested, but I'm still working on that, and hopefully I can get that one in 2024.
Okay, and is it you who's hunting the talent, so to say?
No, it's all of us, and then we have an ops team that once we get the course instructors committing to create it, then it gets handed over to the ops team to handle the creation process and getting all the information we need and coming up with a good title and a good outline for the course and so forth.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. So if you're not yet subscribed to internetmarketing.gold, make sure to visit the site, check it out, and yeah, it's just subscribe and check out the amazing courses the platform has. Tim, yeah, speaking of education and sharing knowledge, and you've been talking about it for a few times on the show already, because I've been asking similar questions. But since you've joined the mentorship program at Odys, has your approach to coaching SEOs, affiliate marketers, business owners, whoever reaches out to, changed from what it's been when you just joined the program?
Yeah, I think, definitely when you start explaining things to people, you realize that it's almost like sales. You repeat the same points over and over again. So I've actually, to your point, I don't know if I've shared this with you, but Alex, I've been sharing this with the owner of Odys. So I made a course on affiliate marketing. I've been doing mentoring privately for many years. And to me, I get a lot of satisfaction out of that. When someone says, I'm not making it in affiliate marketing, what am I doing wrong? And I mentor people for 6 months, a year, as long as they want to go. And we meet, I give them a roadmap, tell them what they're doing, what to fix. And we check in every 2 weeks. I give them assignments. They're supposed to come back with those completed, right? So to your point, I've started making videos because, as you know, I'm an Odys customer, and that's how I met Alex. And I started documenting what I'm doing. Instead of just saying, hey, do this, it really works, I started recording a short video series saying, here's my site, here's what I bought, here's what I did, now here's the result 3 months later. And then I continuously update that, because now I've been with Odys about a year. And it's like, so the proof is in the pudding. And it is a mentor who helps people bridge the gap between looking at domains and kicking the tires and actually going through and purchasing. I mean, I'm a testimonial to the company. And when I get on a phone call with them and I say, when I'm done with this phone call, I'm going to send you a couple links, check those out and tell me if you have any questions. Like, they're sold, because I don't just sell and consult for do exactly what I say. And now I document that. So I think documenting everything, and that's probably one of the things that in my life, I've created some separation between other people. Like, I might not be the most technical or meticulous SEO on the planet, but I document every variable. So I know what happened, what went wrong, what A/B tests worked and what didn't. And I think a lot of people, like I've had partners in a lot of different partnerships in affiliate marketing, and they're like, hey, I just bought a bunch of links. I'm like, what anchor text did you use? Did you record those? Well, no. Okay, well, how do we know if we're going to, because Ahrefs doesn't pick up everything, and sometimes, they use spiders to block that kind of things, but I record everything. So I like to know exactly what I did so I can not only learn from it, but diagnose problems and not repeat the same mistakes in the future.
Mm-hmm. Oh, cool.
I'm curious, Tim, do you have a process to review that at certain intervals to go back and look into what you did at certain times, or is it just there in case you need it one day?
Kind of the latter, but I do put dates on everything that I did too. So, I've got sheets that track everything. So if I did something on a certain date, I'll track it, and I'll go. And if 3 weeks later traffic went down, maybe it was a redirect that was from a bad neighborhood. I try to diagnose everything as good as possible, but it's mostly the latter. It's like a just in case kind of thing. And not only that, I can know if there's certain vendors out there because I recorded all the way down to the vendor. I bought stuff from Kasra and Charles Float. But before that, I was buying from other people, and I'm like, well, this site's not doing very well, and these niche edits aren't as good as they say. And you can pick out bad apples pretty quickly when you record everything, and you're like, dude, I bought that one right there. Like that was the bad buy. Like, and I do a lot of Parasite too, and you can get pretty spammy with Parasite links, but there's some that are just like not like some have just totally failed for me. So I've weeded out from vendors and stuck with kind of like ones to have a formal process and stick to that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, speaking of today's SEO, it seems like, well, not just seems, it's what I keep hearing, including all the shows, the Odys Talks show as well. Well, today's SEO is more about not just manipulating Google, which is, of course, a huge part of it, but it's about like actually building a business and treating your site as a business, not some affiliate marketing niche site hustle, whatever, but actually a business. And Google rewards it. I mean, okay, I might not speak too technically because I'm not a tech guy, but as far as it seems to me, like the picture I get is that it's about actually doing business, not just sticking out keywords and links. So the more authentic you are in doing your business, the more chances you get for your site to get higher in the rankings. All right. So this basically means that SEO today in particular is more of a business tool rather than the goal, right? I mean, you can be a great SEO, you can be very technical, you can be a very knowledgeable specialist, but at the end of the day, it's just part of the game. And I mean, well, Tim, you've had a skincare brand, and you sold the company, as far as I remember. Jason, you have an agency and a marketing agency actually, and I mean you scaled into writing books as well about SEO. Andy, you've been doing all these different things. You have High Voltage agency, this Page Optimizer Pro tool, the IMG courses as well. But well, it's all SEO is a big part of all these things, but at the end of the day, it's business. It's doing business and doing it right. So considering all of the all of the stuff I just said, what does your business journey look like right now? I mean, where do you feel yourself on your personal roadmap, let's say? Yeah, just if you want to, if you already know what you want to say, just go on.
I'll start. So for me, I did something called a vivid vision. I'm sure we all probably have visions, right? You kind of manifest what the future is going to look like. And so, and this is something that I did. So I went to like a Beverly Hills hotel. I spent 3 nights there. I stayed by myself. I had no distractions. I'd sit by the pool during the day. I'd go get lunch. And I would just kind of document, like, what does the future look like in 3 years? Like, so clearly, right? Like, and I wouldn't write like a book. I would just write like bullet points. If something would come to my head, like, boom, bullet point, right? Bullet point, right? And so I went through this whole process, and after 3 days, I had like maybe like 4 pages of bullet points of like how I envision my future looking like in terms of my company. Like, and so then from there, I came back, and I gave that to, at the time, we had somebody that was working at our company. She wasn't just a copywriter, she was a storyteller, right? And so I gave my bullets to the storyteller, and then she basically created a story from the bullets, right? So it's basically 3 years into the future, right? It's like, all right, it's 2025 or 26, right? I walk into the office and this is what's happening. This is how much revenue we're making. This is how many staff we have, right? And then once the story was articulated, then I sent it over to our creative design team, who then basically kind of like put images in it and actually made it look real. And then from there, then we basically had this PDF, which we then turned into a page on our website. So if you go to Hennessy.com, my website, and you click under about, there's a section called Where We're Going, right? And so that's my vivid vision of where we're going, right? And so I did that, I want to say like 2 years ago. And, granted, I'm not going to accomplish 100% of the goals, right? But heck, if I just meet 30% of what I envisioned from this hotel by spending 3 days, it was an exercise worth pursuing, right? And so we're on course to kind of to do, some of the goals that I set out to sail on. So I would just encourage you, to predict your future. If you're listening to this podcast right now, maybe go do that exercise. I wish I would have done it for my personal life too. In fact, that's probably something I'll do this year. Is like, what does my personal life look like in 3 years? Not just always 100% of the business, but it was definitely a good exercise for sure.
Oh, wow. All right. Who's next, guys? Andy, go on.
Sure. Well, I didn't mean to start 3 different companies. It just kind of happened. I'm sure that there's other people that can relate to this. And at 3, I put a hard stop because at least in the beginning, when you start a business, it's usually on life support. We've always bootstrapped our businesses. And they're not going to grow unless they get the love and care in the beginning, and that requires time and attention. And spreading yourself too thin will lead to burnout, and it'll pull you away from other important things which you also should be focusing on. And I've been through that. It's been hard. I've been at the stage where I was not paying attention to my health, my family, work-life balance, and I was working towards a goal. Like with the agency which we sold last year, we were working towards that goal for many, many years. We had that goal set in our minds, and I was working on a projections sheet, which was basically laying out our path to getting to a point where we could sell. The original goal was to sell the agency for $1 million. That was the big goal. And I thought that would be a huge accomplishment. And so we were able to blow that number like out of the water. So that was only through kind of envisioning process and then creating a plan behind that envisioning process, which involved checking so many, like this projection sheet. It was it was far from just like a P&L with like, this is what we hope will happen, this is what actually happened. It was going into details like, this is how many leads we need to generate this month, this is how we're going to generate the leads this month, because we know what our conversion rates are. These are the levers we need to improve on, because we can see that that our conversion rates are down. So we either need to generate more leads or we need to be working on our sales process. We were looking at all these different metrics to help us get us to making the business something which was attractive as an asset for someone else. And it was only through that process that we were able to do that. And I'm really proud to say, like, it's probably the biggest accomplishment so far in my life. I hope it won't be the only big accomplishment, but just to be able to offload that to another business who have over a year managed to grow it even further and have shown that like the investment they made was a good one, that they didn't lose anyone on the team really, which is pretty amazing, over like a year. So they kept the staff happy, they kept the clients happy, and they were able to grow the business. And we were sort of just in the background while they were doing that, but that was like on them. And I believe that was because we sold a business which looked good on the surface, because underneath it was also good. So yeah, at the moment, we're bringing it back to now. I have a tendency to just go all in on things too much and just ignore other parts of my life. And so I'm really focusing on trying not to do that as much and not to rush things like it's an all or nothing, but to more enjoy the journey. So trying to reimagine my role within the businesses in a way that I just really enjoy the work, if that makes sense. So every day, whether we're hitting our goals or not, it's great if we do, but if we don't, we're still, I am still really enjoying my job there. And if we're getting to the point where someone else wants to acquire us, that's my like key metric for success. If they offer something that's worthwhile, great. But if not, I'm still enjoying the process.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'm also working with a coach on that at the moment. So
cool. All right, Tim, what about you?
I think, when I got into the space, I didn't really have a plan. I was selling SEO that lasted about 9 months, and it was super easy back then because we got the results like within a couple of days with that Yahoo direct. Once they approved it, they were very happy. So I thought of it first as like something I really liked, but it felt like a hustle because I was doing sales and not really managing the client. I learned everything from the inside out and said, I can do this myself. I eventually did that. It became a lot more rewarding. So I enjoyed calling clients and sharing successes with them and hearing, hey, my business grew. And I was mostly working with local companies back then. Attorneys, dentists, orthodontists, you name it. And I liked that. But I told myself, I want to be in this profession forever, but I want to be on the other side of that. I want to be someone selling something that I don't have to necessarily handle. Doing those things for me and saying, hey, we just got you, X amount of traffic last month. How'd it look on your end? And I want to eventually grow that to something I can sell. And that's when I got into e-commerce. And I enjoyed that because I got to step out of the kind of techie stuff and be more creative. We hit the niche at a time when the economy was really bad in 2008. And women, I talked to a dermatologist down here who I really respected. And he said, I'm not selling much Botox anymore. And in Miami, everyone has Botox. It's like, you take your vitamins and you get Botox. It's just what it is. And he told me, I'm like, well, where are they going? Because they're not, I know women spend a lot of money on beauty down here. And he's like, they're buying anti-aging creams. Like these creams came out now. And I'm like moisturizers? He's like, no, people are making like wrinkle creams. First thing I did was went to Google Trends, and it was that hockey stick curve that you see, anti-aging creams, wrinkle creams. It was all like just going like that. And he told me, he's like, they can come in here for $600 and get injected every few months, or they can buy a cream that costs $50 to $100, sometimes more. Until that's when I went like all in on that space. I talked to him about ingredients, and I really, like I said, I like doing the creative stuff, and then the marketing was all a thing I got to oversee, but I wasn't necessarily turning wrenches or spending time on pages optimizing. I was hiring people to do that so I could grow the product line, create funnels, and do the offer. Um, wanted that skill set where I could do it all, whether I was managing it or actually personally doing it. So when I sold that and got back into affiliate marketing, it continued to do the creativity stuff because I do a lot of stuff with travel, and a lot of it's based on places I've been to. So I like speaking first person, and whether it's an AI written article, I like to go in and put my own spin on it and make it humorous and factual. So people are like, actually went there. This is his take. Because I don't know if you guys have ever done like a travel piece with AI, with whether it's Surfer or whatever. Everyone, I have a site about Costa Rica. Every article talks about, imagine dipping your toes into the crystal clear waters and the nice sand and luxurious Costa Rica. And I'm reviewing like 100, but everyone starts with different words that say the same thing. And it's like, what blogger would ever talk about that?
Yeah.
You want to say, this beach here is located up here, and I'm going to talk about what makes it different from every other beach in the country and why you come here, but every AI thing starts with that. So I like, again, using the creativity and knowledge, doing that stuff. But, we get into this space and you never know where it's going to take you. Like, I've managed PPC for people. I've consulted on funnels. But I think, having that basic skill set of what works online and where consumer behavior wants to go is very important, because you can flip manager by simply taking a course and getting a mentor. You tell my son that all the time. It's all about who you know and what you learn and digest. I think that's the cool thing about our career is someone could come out with a course next week on something I don't know about. It could be email marketing, something that I have a grip on but want to learn more about. And I'd probably buy it and check it out just to increase my knowledge of that. So when I have customers that need assistance, I don't have to outsource it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to get back to one thing Andy mentioned really quickly. You, Andy, you mentioned work-life balance. What do you guys think about the thing James Dooley and Kazardashian in particular root for, which sounds like work-life integration? Have you ever tried doing anything like that, or are you more into balancing things rather than integrating?
I think when you're an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Like, as we all are, it just happens by default, right? You know what I mean? Like, I think when you're trying to do a work-life balance, that's when you have like a job, right? And you go to 9 to 5 and you're like, all right, I'm not going to check emails from home. I'm going to spend time with my family, right? Like, you're just trying to kind of separate the thing. However, if you kind of love what you do, right, you're never really working anyway. Right. So there's that, like, heck, getting on a plane, going to Thailand, going to go hang out with people and geek out about SEO for 10 days. Like, that's not work, right? It is kind of work, but it's not really, And so, but I think it's important that you do, you do have to kind of, I've got 3 children, one's in college right now, right? You kind of have to make time for them, right? And so, what gets scheduled gets done. I've got entire days, where I don't put anything on my schedule, and I'm just gonna like take my daughter to Disney and just surprise her and skip school today. You know what I mean? Like, so like, so I think it just naturally happens, but you do have to make sure that you hold yourself accountable to making sure you're spending as much time with your family as you are with your business, right? So,
Jason, I've been following you for a while. I was really looking forward to meeting you when I saw you were coming to Thailand. One of the reasons was because of this. I'm really listening to what you were saying carefully, because it seemed to me as though you had down after many, many years of, like, there must have been a lot of hustle there for a long time, that you have managed to also carve out a lot of time for your family, and making sure that you've been around as a really good mentor and father as well, right?
Mm.
Has that always been the case? And I'm just curious. I'm not supposed to be asking the question, but
No, you can. Absolutely can. I mean, whatever comes to your mind. If
Yeah.
you want to if you want to follow on a topic mentioned by
Yeah.
either one of you, or if you want to
I saw
ask
I saw
something about that, go on. Yeah.
you
Yeah,
posted
no.
something the other day, Jason, about how your main mission now, after you've achieved so many goals in your business, is to help your children to achieve theirs. I saw that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's truthful, you know, I mean, like you kind of give up on your goals and dreams. And, you know, I think Tim, you'd mentioned you had a son. I'm not sure how old, how many children do you have?
I have one. He's 18.
Okay. Yeah. So you're living in the same world that I'm living in. Right. So, so yeah, there comes a point where, you know, it's like, hey, just want my kids. I want to try to help them pursue their goals, you know, and sometimes you have to give up on some of your goals to pursue theirs. But yeah, you know, I think for me, it just comes from the fact that, like just growing up, I was raised by a single mother. My father wasn't really kind of in the picture. My grandparents kind of helped raise me. We didn't have a lot of money, right? We didn't have a car when I was a kid, right? So it's one of those kind of like rags to riches kind of stories. But I'm forever grateful for that, because it, you know, it made me want to kind of do things for my kids that I didn't have as a kid. Right. So, you know, and I think that's really kind of my mission and why I spend so much time with my family and why that's such an important aspect of my life. And that keeps me grounded. It keeps me motivated and it keeps me driven, I guess. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I think too,
Thanks for
that's a
asking.
big reason why I gravitated towards this career. And something that Andy touched on was like, you know, the balance and the hustle in the beginning. When my son was really young, that's when I was building Skin Pro, and I was doing 16, 18-hour days, you know, doing that. And my son sees me now and he knows I get to kind of pick and choose my hours. And I'll say this, like he's played academy level soccer the last 10 years. I've chased him around the country as far as Hawaii to go to games. I mean, every weekend or other, Jacksonville, Tampa, you name it, North Carolina. And he's like, Dad, you're at every game. I'm a single father. You're at every game. You don't miss these games. And I'm like, well, my work allows it. Like I can dip out and leave on a Friday morning and catch your game that's at 5 in Tampa. But, you know, when I get back to the hotel, I'll put in my time. I'll send my reports. I'll do my content, whatever I have to do. And that's the beauty of this profession. I mean, every weekend I wake up, you know, I wake up early naturally, but it's like every weekend I get up and the first thing I do is come to my office and sit on the computer for a couple hours. It doesn't feel like working because I enjoy it. I love checking stats. I like seeing emails about things that are going on. But when you think about it, yeah, I've probably put in 4 to 5 hours on the weekends when no one else is working. And that's what gets us ahead. But it also allows us to be flexible during the week when most people can't be. I mean, I always used to tell this story, like, and I wrote a book. It's not about SEO. It's about self-startership, basically. It dropped right before the pandemic, so it was very hard to go on a marketing tour after that. But you know, that's one of the things I wrote about in there was, you know, it's amateur hour when everybody goes out on Saturday night. You're going to meet people that never go out and they pay overpriced. They go where they're supposed to go. Go somewhere on a Tuesday night and you'll meet the entrepreneurs and people that can do whatever they want whenever they want. You know, you go to a place and you sit at the bar and you just make conversation, at least here in South Florida. It's all business owners, all small business owners. You go out on a Saturday night, it's usually, you know, families. There's nothing wrong with that, but you're not going to really connect with people, and because everyone's supposed to go get a family dinner on Friday or Saturday night. Right? I think differently. I think outside the box, but our profession and not only that, just being an entrepreneur allows that. And like I said, I'm just super grateful for that because I know a lot of parents that couldn't go on road trips, couldn't go to our trip to Hawaii we went on because of work. I mean, we were there for 9 days. Not a lot of people can take that out, even in the summer. So to me, that the balance is created because we, as entrepreneurs, I mean, look, I don't let my clients manage me. You know, hey, if you want to meet up, here's my schedule, you know, and I've got you, and I move mountains for them, but they understand family first too, and they know the business. A lot of them, they're online sellers, you know, so they get it too, and they do the same thing. So I think that mutual respect is good. As long as you don't let the business manage you and you manage it, then you're all good.
Sure.
Awesome. This
Good
seems
advice.
this seems like a perfect note to wrap things up today. Guys, I'm very thankful to each one of you for joining this conversation. And it was a hell of a ride, a lot of useful, awesome information, stories, and things that our listeners and viewers can learn from for their businesses, careers, work-life balance, or integration, whatever whatever they choose. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the conversation too. So yeah, guys, next Wednesday, just stay tuned, follow us on social media, and I'm not going to announce who's going to be next Wednesday, even though I know who's going to be, but I assure you, you will not want to miss it. And yeah, if you want to book a coaching session with Tim, you can find the link to his mentor page in the description box. You can also find Jason's channel, and I think it's Andy's channel or IMG. I don't remember which one I put in there in the description box as well. And by the way, where can people find you? Social media, websites, whatever it is.
Yeah, for me, just add Jason Hennessy basically on all social channels: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram.
Andy?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at the Wide World of Andy. Not really on there for business, but sorry, Tim.
Anyway, sorry about that. Instagram, Tim Schmidt Senior. Twitter, I'm Tequila Reviews. That's also like a hobby I have. I love tequila YouTubing, as Vladimir knows.
Yeah.
Got everything else.
Awesome. Cool. Once again, thanks for this amazing conversation. All right. See y'all next time.
Thanks, Vlad.
Take care, guys.